Welcome to Do the Dang Thing podcast with Chrissi Sperduto, the podcast that's like having a personal action-taking coach in your pocket, giving you bite-sized tips and small mindset shifts every week. I'm your host, Chrissi Sperduto. I'm a network marketer turned action-taking coach for business owners who grew her businesses while holding down a successful career in aviation. I'm on a mission to help you fit your business into your everyday life because I believe you are capable of doing some pretty amazing things no matter how chaotic your life is. Consider me your no-nonsense business BFF, helping you learn how to get it all done quicker, easier, and with way less mental drama. Join me here on the podcast each week where we'll chat everything from systems to help you fit your business into real life, to business tips, plus time management hacks, mindset shifts to help you find the courage to take that next step in your business, and real life experts to inspire and empower you to go after your goals. Let's go, CEO. We have work to do. Grab your favorite cup of coffee or wine, no judgment here, and get ready to ditch those inner mean girl thoughts ringing in the back of your head so you can embrace your inner badass and go do the dang thing. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to the Do the Dang Thing podcast. I'm your host, Chrissi Sperduto, and I'm so excited that you are here today. Today, we have a super inspiring guest. I have my friend Kim Barker with me. She is a coach's wife and public school warrior who is passionate about multiple streams of income and travel. She's turned her passion into a monetization while working an 8-to-5 day job and spending countless hours in the gym cheering on her husband and her son. Kim, before we dive in, please tell us about you, your business journey, and how you managed to wear so many different hats so effectively.
Oh my gosh, Christy, it's so good to be here with you today. I don't know that I wear them well. Sometimes the hats all get stacked on each other and I forget like which hat I'm in, but it's a great, I don't know, I do well, I think, in chaos sometimes. I don't know. I hear you read back that bio and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot going on in my life. But I don't know. I like it busy. I like having time to do what I want to do while doing all the things too. We are about less than a month away from getting our seasons kicked off in our house. And so I don't know, I think I'm ready for doing all the things, doing all the dang things. There's lots of them.
I love that. And Kim, you like whatever you have that gets thrown at you in your life, you just like run through it and you're like, okay, this is what's happening. I remember you saying that you packed up and moved your house in a weekend without any help because your husband was busy being a coach during playoffs.
Yes. Between our second and third round of playoffs, we moved that weekend. I'm thankful for family and friends and a cute little neighbor who brought me a casserole. But life in a small town is great. So, but yeah, whatever is happening, I just like organize it, plan it, and check it off. Just start checking things off the list till it's done.
I love that so much. I was like, do you need any help? You're like, nope, we got it.
We did. I mean, it was great. I mean, we did it. I look back, I'm like, what did I do? Like, how did we do that? And I also have told my husband, never again.
Yes. Moving is so stressful.
I know you have too.
We've done a lot of moves too. And
Yes.
I don't know that I could have done it in a weekend like you did. So I'm very impressed. Now, a couple weeks ago, you were listening to the podcast and you sent me a voice note and you were like, Chrissi, I need to come on your podcast and I need to talk about this thing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that thing is?
Oh my gosh. I was listening to you because I know your passion as well to have multiple streams of income, do all kinds of things while keeping your also very predominant, very important day job that you're passionate about as well. And I know that's something we have in common. And so listening to that podcast, I was like, we have to talk about this. Like, there are people who will benefit from saying it's okay to have your career and do something else. I think so often when you get into, I know it's a lot with network marketing, you'll hear people go, oh, are you trying to replace your income? And I'm always like, no, I don't want to replace my income. I love my income. I trained for this. I'm passionate about that. I want something else for me. I want to chase a dream that might look different than 8 to 5. And I think there's such a stigma to, well, are you doing a side hustle to, I don't know, like be debt free, be whatever. No, I'm doing it because I want to do it. I'm doing it because I want to build something else. And it's okay to do that alongside a full career as well. And I think it's important for women to feel that freedom that you can do this. You can do both.
Absolutely. I've heard a lot recently, like, retire your husband. I'm like, yeah. I don't want my husband retired. Like, he needs to go to work and like be out of my hair for a little bit.
Yes, I said that's fine last week. I said I need to be retired a good 10 years before you are. Like
Yeah.
I just need that peace. And he was like a little hurt, but I was like, oh no, it's marriage. It's marriage, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Kim, this month you inspired, and this is going to air in November, so it'll be a
Okay, cool.
little
Yeah.
late, but in October in the Do the Dang Thing membership, you actually inspired our challenge for the month of pitch yourself to be on a podcast, to be in a masterclass, to do an
Cool. I had no
Instagram
idea.
live with someone. And so I just thought that your pitch was so inspiring. So can you tell them a little bit more about like what you included and like why you were passionate about pitching me to be on the podcast?
I think it's important for me, like I said, I want women to hear that freedom, to give yourself the freedom to do both things that you want to do. So for me, both my husband and I have multiple streams of income. I've done a couple little things, but recently I added travel and being a travel advisor. And I think it's so important to me to be able to monetize what I'm already doing. People already ask me, where do you want to stay? Where's the best place to eat downtown Grapevine? I know, like, we're headed there today. Where's the best hotel for this? Hey, let's all go on the same cruise. Where are we going? And I'm already organizing all that. So why don't I just get paid for that? And I think it's important to know your self-worth. So when I heard you on the podcast talking about the challenges that happened, I think it was the one, I can't remember which one it was the challenges about social media and content. And you had a guest, I can't remember her name offhand, but she was great. But listening to you guys talk about organizing content, organizing your time, and being able to do all the things and having those resources, I thought we've got to talk about this, you and I, because that's a resource too for people to know that you can have an outsized business, have a 9 to 5 job, have a family. You can do all those things. I think it's important to share. There's a passion to that too. So that's why I just sent you that voice. I can tell you where I was. I was on a walk over here by the school and I was like, Chrissy, we have to talk about this. People need to know, like, I'm passionate about keeping my job, all day. You're passionate about your job and working in those crevices. So many people, and I think for so long, I was like, it's so hard because I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 every day. And I'm tired. Like, I slept really late this morning, but that's okay. I'm good now. But I'm like, how do you work in the crevices, even though you feel like you have this box you're sitting in? And I feel like I've broken out of that box and I can do other things at the same time. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I hope I'm making
Absolutely.
sense.
Yes. And I just love that you approached me and you're like, I have this one specific topic that I want to talk
Mm-hmm.
about. It's going to benefit your people because of X, Y, and Z. Like, we could, like, this could be really great for
Yeah.
both of us. And a lot of the times I get pitches and they're about something that's completely unrelated to the podcast with someone that doesn't listen to the podcast, doesn't understand the
Oh
vibe,
gosh,
doesn't
yeah.
understand, how I talk to my audience. And so I just wanted to like inspire anyone else that's listening
Mm-hmm.
to this. If you have a podcast that you love and you listen to, your podcast host is probably looking for guests, especially if they can come on and talk about something that you are actively going through,
Mm-hmm.
that could be related to their listeners. So just a little encouragement there. But Kim, you are
Okay.
super passionate about full-time job, multiple
Mm-hmm.
streams of income. How do you find these crevices to do both?
Oh gosh, I think each week looks different. So I can say with my 8 to 5, it is always 8 to 5. That doesn't change. And I also generally, I guess the past like 3 weeks, I've had some evening events I've had to be at, but I know that in advance. So that life is very planned. Now, what happens during the 8 to 5 is not, and that's okay. But my month, I can look at every month ahead and know where I have to be in the evening, so I know what my evenings may look like. I very rarely have anything on a Saturday or a Sunday, so I know those days are free. One of the reasons I'm very excited to get into our basketball season in our house is because we are scheduled. Every Tuesday and Friday are games. My house is empty Saturday mornings. I am looking forward to the empty house Saturday morning. So I just look each week, I look at it and say, okay, where can I chunk, 2 and 3 hours of time that doesn't negatively impact our family here at home. So I'll tell you what I did. Okay, I'll publicly put this out here. Yeah, I live in Texas. I don't watch the Cowboy games. I don't care. Like, so Thursday night, my husband's like, hey, I'll cook, but the Cowboys are on. I'm like, perfect. I'm going to do some work. And I took my laptop, out to outside where it's cool. And I worked on batching and organizing content in Canva for my travel Instagram. And then I looked at flights for a client. They wanted to see what kind of flights they could get to Honolulu this January and then to Nashville this fall. And so I was able to do that because I knew I had that uninterrupted piece of time. So it might sometimes be because the Cowboy game's on and I can sneak away, or maybe, hey, I'm going to sit in the office tonight for an hour. I have to do XYZ. So honestly, it looks different, but I've given myself that permission that it doesn't have to be the same. I would like to be a little more structured. And I think moving forward, I kind of want to name it on my calendar office hours. And that's what I'm doing, the different things. I keep running to-do lists on Google Keep. I keep lots of notes, paper calendar, all the things. So as the ideas come, I might get a great idea in the middle of the day at work, write it down, handle it when I get home, and I can do it on my home laptop. So it varies. I wish I could say there was a magic formula, but you have to do what works for you. And I know your schedule is not 8 to 5 Monday through Friday at all.
No,
I see
not at
your
all.
schedule. No, not at all. So it looks different for each person, how they.
Yeah. What was the communication with your family when you decided to add this to what you were already doing? Like, what did the conversation look like? What did the support look like? Did you have to ask for support?
Oh gosh, my husband is wonderful. He is super, super supportive. I could come in here and say I want to stand on my hands, upside down for 3 hours. He'd be like, sounds cool. What do you need to support? But I really did. Once I found this, because I've been through your journeys. Your workbook is like right back here in the back. Like I've been looking for something. And when I found the travel, I was like, all the bells and whistles just went off. I knew this was exactly going to fit exactly what I needed to do. And so we just sat one night and I'm like, hey, I found this opportunity. And he knows I've been looking at different things. He knew I was in your roadmap. And I said, I think it's a good fit. I think it's minimal overhead. I'm already doing these things. We cruise every summer. We take families with us. And I said, you would be shocked at the perks to doing that. And I was like, even for hotels, say for example, you and I both love the Hotel Bean down in Grapevine. We love that place. Booking through that, like through a travel advisor, you can get like room upgrades and all kinds of things that you can't get as a generic person. And I had no idea. I always thought, yeah, travel advisors, whatever. No, they hold rooms on cruises specifically for travel advisors to get upgrade rooms. Gosh, some of them, I've already earned a free cruise. Like, hey, so sitting there and like, yeah, I know it's mind boggling. So telling my husband, hey, we're already doing these things. Let's monetize this and let's use it for our benefit. It's another stream of income as we work towards those years that we're looking to retire. And he was all for it. And then of course, my child is 17. He just wants to go on the cruise and eat the buffet. So he's fine. He does. He's fine. But I think for him, he has always seen me work. He's seen me work a lot and do lots of multiple things. For him, it's like he'll walk on in here in a little bit. He's up at the school right now. He'll probably walk in like, oh, there's mom on another Zoom, and I'll, whatever she's doing something else. So he's always supportive as well, because I think he sees a strong female who can handle a lot of things, and I feel very proud that I've modeled that for him as well.
I love that so much. I think there's so much mom guilt around like, oh, I'm working, I'm on another Zoom call, I should be available for my kids 24/7. And I just don't know that that's 100% true, because when you are off the Zoom calls, you go and you have quality time versus if you were available 24/7, mom's bugging me again.
Exactly. Yeah. And I talk a lot to the ladies that I work with and helping them. There is no work-life balance. It's not a thing. It's a rhythm. The rhythms change. And some weeks your rhythm is you're home more, and some weeks you're not. And you can't, if you look for balance, you'll never find it. So you just have to work in the chaos.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in the programs that I host, is that there is no such thing as balance. It is a rhythm. It is this week this bucket's a little bit fuller than this bucket, and hey, I need to pull time from here in order to finish this. I need to ask for support in this way. And every week we look at like, what are our goals for the week and where do I need to ask for support?
Yes.
In that your dreams are just as important as your husband's dreams, as your kids' dreams. And so how can I make room in what we're already doing and ask them for that support that I need in order to accomplish what I want to accomplish?
Yep, absolutely. Like I said this morning, I'm recording this thing at 11. There can be no noise in the house. And he's like, great, no problem. And he was talking to another coach on the phone, and he went to the back porch and took the dog. And I was like, thank you. Because she would love to be on the podcast. Yes. She would be all up in our mix right now.
And even like just having grace for yourself of like, there are probably plenty of podcast episodes that I've put out that the dog's barking. And it's like, hey guys, I have a dog. Like,
it's real.
What it is. Like,
it's real.
Here we are in real life. I can edit out as much as I can, and the rest of it, you get the real and unfiltered version.
I love it.
So, Kim, how do you set boundaries to ensure that you are not trying to do too many things, overextending?
Ooh, overextending. I saw that question, and I was like, I'm really good at overextending. Really good at that. A good example, I spent 4 hours in the concession stand last night. Like, I'm just like, it's Friday night. And a lot of time on Friday evenings, my husband works volleyball games. And so I do have time to work the business. But they needed help for the junior class. And so there I was in the concession stand. Had a great time, connected with some great people. But I think sometimes those weeks do hit where I look at it and go, oh gosh, I've said yes to too many things. And, sometimes I'm going to honor those commitments and go through it. But I think there's a lens in which I learned probably about 10 years ago, what is the best yes? What is your best yes? When you're presented with multiple things that, there's things you have to do. There may be something I have to be at. And then there's options I could do. What's my best yes? And that's how I really look at it. And sometimes it is overextended and sometimes it's not. And I don't know, I sound really chaotic, I feel like, but I don't know. It's hard to explain for me. I think I go through seasons. Like there's different seasons in our lives where I don't always have the best of boundaries and sometimes I do. So I don't know. I think for me, it's not so much boundaries, it's organization. How I stay organized, I think is more like it. We have lots of calendars. The family sees the calendars, who's going where on what night, and I work within that. So I think if I'm not organized, that's when I start feeling bad. When I don't have that plan or that organization, that's when I feel like, oh gosh, I can't do all these things. But if I'm planned, I can do any of them. That makes sense.
Yeah, and so if you get to that point, if you're like, ooh, I said yes to too many things this week, what do you do?
Okay, well, there are times I have to absolutely do some of the things I don't want to do. I have regular meetings twice a month for work that do take up an extended period of time. Can't say no to those, but then I may look at, okay, like a good example is I'm going through cruise training right now, and I have to get trained in another cruise line. I very quickly got the initial training with just the travel advisor company I use. And then I did Royal Caribbean and Princess Cruises. I did those right off the bat and just powered through them. I have to do a third. You know what? And right now I don't feel like I'm ready to put that extra time in. I'm really working on getting the business off the ground, gathering clients, doing some other types of things. That'll come. It'll happen probably in the next, month or two, but I had to go off feel. It didn't feel like I was ready to dive into another extensive training program yet. I needed to get myself really organized. So it's been 4 weeks of really launching the business and launching it alongside, my daily life. And that was a bigger focus for me than the training. So that's an example of how it'll happen.
I think that speaks to prioritization. Like, what is the number one priority here? And can I get it done this week? And then everything else, can wait till next week.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think having the expectation of I'm not going to get to everything this week. And the running to-do list is a running to-do list that will never be done.
Yep.
I think a lot of the times, we want to complete the to-do list and have it done. And that's just not that's not how business, that's not how life works. We got to keep going.
It's so hard though, but here's what I've done. I love Google Keep. And so I keep a running to-do list on there. I have about 10. I have social media ideas. I'm launching something called the Wander List in October. Anyway, so I keep running my running list on there and I keep one long to-do list, but here's my trick to make it feeling better. I use the check boxes, and when I check it off, it moves and I'm like, I did it, so it may keep growing, but I still see that completion. So that's my go-to there for that good hit of dopamine.
I love that. So on your hard weeks, on the weeks where it feels like there's too many things to do, you're juggling your full-time job, you're running things in your business, what keeps you motivated?
Oh gosh, that was this week. That was this week for sure. I think for me, it's the end goal. What's my end goal? Why did I do this to begin with? I have to stop and remember, I want the decision freedom to choose to step into my full-time job retirement when I'm eligible. That's why we have multiple streams of income. Right now, we are running and gunning, 8 to 5 every day, and I want the opportunity to sleep past 6. I want to choose what my day looks like. I want to choose to go for a walk and then dig into whatever my business is for the day. And that's what I think about. What's the life that I'm chasing? So I want to be clear. We're not chasing dollar signs. We're not chasing money in the bank. We're chasing financial freedom and the freedom to make decisions. And that's what keeps me going.
I love that. What advice do you have for someone that's looking to start a business while also working full time?
Ooh, honestly, it's going to be probably what you said to me. I'm plugging at you real hard right here. You said, just do it. And that's where you ended up. Of course your podcast is named Do the Dang Thing. Of course it is, because that's how you are. How many times did you say that to me over the past, year and a half? Kim, you don't have to have the perfect office. Just do it. You don't have to have everything organized. Just do it. You don't have to have just all the ideas. Dive in there, start through the roadmap, start doing things. And I think that's the best advice to give. And when I found this, it all clicked and I just jumped in. and I don't have all the answers and I don't know all the things, but I've jumped in and here we are. Here we are. So I say, honestly, just do the dang thing.
I love that. And
Yep.
actually, I have to say, Kim was the inspiration behind me starting my business.
Oh gosh, don't say that.
So I was in network marketing, and Kim was also still is
hmm
in network marketing, and I was a customer of hers. She was a customer of mine. We
hmm
met through a direct sales party, and we were hanging out one day, and I was telling her all about how I use Trello to batch my content.
hmm
And Kim was like, "You need to do trainings for other network marketing companies
Yeah.
and show them how to do this because people need this." And I sat on that conversation that we had for about a year and a half before I ever
hmm
did anything with it. And finally, when I got my coaching certification, I was like, okay, between like the systems that I have in my business and this mindset certification, I think I'm ready to start a business. And that's when
hmm
I did the dang
Yep.
thing
You
and I
did it.
started, and I did it really messy, and I did it, with only one client at the beginning, and it eventually grew into what it is now and will continue to grow as I learn things and
hmm
grow. But it was that, you think about pivotal conversations that can change your life. That conversation with you, Kim, was something that stuck with
Wow.
me.
Wow, I'm so glad. I had no idea I was the inspiration behind that. I just think, you mentioned, also the network marketing. I don't do near as much with that anymore. There's a lot of things behind the scenes for that. But I will say it's needed because there wasn't anyone. We were in two different companies. There was not any person in our company saying, here's great content, here's whatever. There was always, maybe here's some advertisements for the week, but it wasn't anything personalized. It wasn't how to get your social media up and running. And like when you were like, oh no, I batch my content and I use these Trello boards. I'd heard of Trello before and all things. I was like, you have to do that. There's like a whole world of people out there. I always felt like I had a good understanding of how to organize digitally, things like that, just because I do so much of that in my 9 to 5. I do digital organization is a key. And if you're not in it every day, you have to learn. That's a skill you have to learn. And
Yeah.
so I think you put together just phenomenal products that are helpful for people.
So thank you.
So I love it. I love it. Like my book, it's sitting right there and it's always like right there. So I can grab it. Okay. What do I need to look at? What's the shortcut for this? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And putting
huge
all
resource.
those answers. And I will say I love network marketing because I think it's like a really easy way to dive
hmm
into having your own business without having to do all
Yeah.
of the things. You don't have to have a product ready, like they have that. You don't have to do the shipping, they have that. And so it's a really good way to get your
hmm
feet wet. Like if you're thinking about starting a business, that's a really great
hmm
way to start. And then you can
Yep.
decide, like, hey, am I actually entrepreneurial in heart, or was this just kind of a hobby for a little while? And it's
Right.
okay to quit.
It is okay. Yeah, it's okay to pivot. I mean, I can tell you in the 20 something years we've been married, I've done all kinds of different things. I mean, I used to tutor for a long time. That's how I paid my way through grad school. And then I ran a blog for a very long time. I had a coach's wife's blog that then turned into this whole like home design thing. Chip and Joanna literally followed my blog. It was right when they were becoming big. And I'm like, I can't believe like Chip's mom would like comment on my Twitter. Like it was wild. Like I know, but anyway, that became the blogging world became so big and so saturated. It had just run its course. And so then I did like, the other network marketing thing, the wine thing, and then now this has kind of popped up. So it's always been something else in my background, but I feel that now I have the skills thanks to your inspiration and your products and the things the support that you provide. I have the skills to take it and actually not make it a hobby. This is going to be what I do like long term,
I love
so
that.
yes.
That's so exciting.
Yes, I know. I'm like, can we get here? I'm always my husband, can we get to the point of like we can really retire? And he's like, no, not yet. Not eligible. I'm not eligible yet through the state of Texas, but I'm getting within about 3 years. So
Yeah.
that's
Well,
exciting.
I'm in the same boat of I will retire
hmm
really early. I'm eligible to retire in my 40s. And
Yep, that's
so,
awesome.
what do I want to do
Yep.
after that? So that's really cool. You're going to retire pretty young too.
I'll be 51. Yeah, which is super young.
Yeah, so you have like the
Yep.
chance to go out and have a whole nother career if you want to.
hmm
Just so fun.
And
All right.
rest.
What other advice do you have for someone new
Oh.
in business, someone that's trying to balance both, whether that's motherhood and growing a business or a full time job and growing a business? What other
Mhm.
advice do you have for her?
I would say find what your anchors are. What are your anchors? I think through the years, like my child was, mean, when he was born, I was a campus principal and there was no boundaries on time. And he saw that, but you have to anchor yourself in what is your best yes, what's best in this moment, what do we got to do, and just be comfortable in that mess sometimes. Like I can completely remember having to go up and introduce the elementary choir or whatever, and here's our choir director, blah, blah, all the things. And he was 3 and he refused to sit in his seat, so he clung to my leg. And I'm like, hey, here we are. We serve kids. I've got my own. Let's just do it. And it's like being comfortable, I guess, in that moment and being like, yeah, you can wear multiple hats, and they can also we can wear them at the same time. You don't have to have just your 8 to 5, this is me, and mom's silo over here, and wife's silo over here, and here's my business over here. You can be all of those things, and you can do all of those well.
I love that. You absolutely can. You can do them all. Messy, wrong.
Yep.
With real life happening, with the dog barking in the background,
with the dogs,
with the kid clinging to your leg if you need to. It is possible if you believe in yourself.
Yep. You just have to just take one step at a time. For me, I always like things to be super clean and super organized, and they're not. And you just have to be like, okay, it's okay. So.
I love that. Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. And I loved kind of pulling back the curtain and seeing what it takes to do all the different things. I always try to leave the listeners with one actionable thing that they can do today. You know that because you're a listener.
Yep.
So after listening today, what is one thing that they can go and do after this episode?
Oh gosh, I knew this was coming, but gosh, your question's hard, but that's you. You're going to give us those good reflective questions in your coaching life. I would say take one step today towards your business goal, whatever it is, your business goal, your side hustle goal, whether it's signing up just to find out what that may be about, or it may be purchasing, looking on your website, getting that support started. Because I've loved that I've had the support before I jumped in and found the right business. But do one thing that takes you one step closer to your goals and your dreams.
Yeah. Maybe that one thing you need to do you've been putting off.
Yes. That big rock that's sitting there in the corner of the room that you don't want to tackle. Yes, yeah, I know.
Absolutely. Well, Kim, thank you so much for your time. Where can they find you, and where can they book a cruise with you?
Oh my gosh, let's go on a cruise. Let's take all the do the dang thingers to the cruise. You can find me right now on Instagram. I do not have a separate Facebook group. Like I say, I'm kind of taking it little by little, getting my feet wet until I'm ready to jump completely all the way in with multiple groups and social medias. But you can find me on Instagram at Wander and Pour Travel. Would love to have you follow along. You'll see me doing some, we call it wandering. So we'll be wandering today. The husband and I, it's our last free Saturday before basketball season ends in February. So I was I'm like, we are going somewhere. So we're going to run around, drink some wine today. Wander and pour. If you follow along, you'll figure out that I like wine. Chrissy likes wine. We bond over all different kinds of wine. Big goal in life is to savor some legit champagne like she has. So
come on over, we can do it.
Oh, so fun. It just scares me a little bit, but that's the fun part. It looks so beautiful when you do it. Anyway, find me there. You'll see us wandering around. You'll see some pours. You'll see places that we've traveled and where we've been, and would love to help you make the memories that you can with your family and friends.
I love that. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Keep on doing the dang thing.
Yes, thank you, Chrissy.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Do the Dang Thing podcast with Chrissi Sperduto. If you know someone that could benefit from today's chat, please send this episode their way and be sure to leave a rating and a review so more business owners can find the podcast and be inspired to take action on their goals. Also, I love to see what you're doing while you listen. Share what you're up to while you listen to today's episode and tag me in your stories at Chrissi Sperduto for a shout out. If you'd like to explore more resources like my free monthly coaching call and learn how we can work together through one-on-one coaching or the Do the Dang Thing membership, head to www.chrissisperduto.com. Please always remember that you are not alone in this adventure. I am always rooting for you, bestie. Until next time, keep on doing the dang thing. Bye.